What's up, Internet? This is Andrew from Node Island, and today we're going to be doing a Touch Designer tutorial aimed at intermediate Touch Designer developers. The goal of this set of tutorials is to really drill down and understand some of the more basic operators by building effects that we're familiar with. Today, we're going to be using Touch Designer to create a drop shadow effect, and my hope is to develop a few more of these. We can do inner light, outer glow, etc. The way that this is going to work is I am going to do the tutorial. Shouldn't take more than a couple of minutes. I'm going to talk through it, hopefully in enough detail that you'll be able to just listen to my voice and you won't have to look at the screen. Okay? The goal then is for you to go back to the beginning of the video, press play again, and see if you can build it faster than I can without listening to my voice. So the goal is really to be able to do all of this quickly. Okay? All right. So let's get into it. Let's see what we're making, and let's do something here. All right. This is the effect that we're going to be doing. It is a drop shadow effect. We can adjust where the drop shadow is. We can also change the filter size, the blurriness of our shadow. We can change the color of our shadow if we'd like, make a red shadow. It's kind of fun. We can also change our background color here. All right, cool. Let's get into it. The first thing that I'm going to do is press the tab key and then tab over to my comps and create a base. We can rename our base by double clicking on the word base 1 and type drop shadow. And then we're going to select our drop shadow base and press the I key to go into it. First thing that we're going to do inside of the base is to tab over to our tops and create a circle. We're going to click on our circle and navigate it up to the upper right hand corner called the Common tab and change the resolution to 1000 by 1000 pixels. We're then going to right click on the output of our circle and type in. This is how we can pass information into our drop shadow effect here. So if we wanted to use text or something that wasn't a circle, this is how we could do it. We're going to right click on the output of our in, and the first thing that we want to add is a transform operator. This is going to be how we adjust where our shadow is. The next thing that we're going to add is a composite, and the last thing is going to be a blur. Excuse me, not a composite. Let's try that again. We're going to add a transform, we're going to add a constant, and then we're going to add a blur. All right, with our transform, let's just nudge it a little bit so that we'll be able to eventually see it. So we're just going to nudge that over 0.3 and 0.3. I'm doing that by clicking on the transform tab of our transform top and then going over to the translate parameter. Under our constant, we want to first of all turn our color black, and then under the output, under our operation, make sure that we go down to the inside operation. This is going to take our constant and put it inside of anything that's not alpha. The last thing is we have a blur. So let's increase the blur shrink and filter size a little bit. We can adjust the pre-shrink to 3 and the filter size to 30. Now we need to bring our shadow and our circle together. So what I'm going to do is to add a composite. And first, let's plug our circle coming from the in top into our composite, and then we can connect our blur top. All right. So what is going to be happening now is a little bit difficult to see, but it's not what we want. What we want is to change our operation to over. And what this is going to do is to take whatever our top input is, right? In this case, our in, which is our circle, and put it over whatever our bottom input is. We're going to have difficulty seeing what's going on here because we don't have a background color. We can create that by adding a constant. So I'm going to right click on the output of our composite and add a constant. And then after our constant, we can add an out, and we can view all of this on the back of our screen by clicking the lower right-hand corner, the little blue circle called display. Now, our constant, we want to change the color to something a little bit more neutral, maybe a neutral green. All right, we're seeing an issue here, which is that it is going inside of our white circle. That is because our operation is set to multiply. If we set our operation to under, it's going to take our constant color and put it underneath whatever is coming into it. In this case, our composite here. Okay. Now the only thing left to do is to set up our custom parameters. We can do that by right-clicking inside of our network. Make sure to not right-click on any operator, and we can customize our parent component. We are going to want to drag in our translate parameters, our constant color, our blur, pre-shrink, and filter size. We also may want to drag in our constant alpha channel. And then lastly, we can have our background constant and drag our color in there so that we can adjust our background color. All right, let's see what we made. So we have our drop shadow effect. We can come over here to transform. I'm going to create a null so that we can see it on the background. We have our drop shadow effect. We can move our shadow around. We can adjust the color of our shadow. We can also adjust how much shrink it has. So if we wanted a more sharp shadow, we could reduce our shrink, and a more diffuse shadow, we could increase our shrink and filter size. And then finally, we have a background color that we can adjust. Cool. So hopefully that made sense. If you're an intermediate developer, I really suggest just shedding. It's a jazz term for when you just practice something over and over and over again. Just try to build this effect like 10 times. See if you can build it faster than I can. And hopefully you'll find that useful. I think being able to move around, understand the composite and all the things that it can do, understand compositing inside of solids or constants, excuse me, really is going to be helpful. So that's it. I hope you have a wonderful day. Good luck.